Hello, fifth grade, good morning. Mr. Bauer here at Studio B.
Oh, hold on, Mr. Bauer. Kitty has come to visit. Saw we were shooting a video. Kitty, you gonna help us with our fifth grade math today?
I think that's a no.
Oh, okay, back to Mr. Bauer. We're gonna have to do the math, Mr. Bauer.
Yep, go get your snacks. Okay. So, Unit 7, okay? I start, Module 1, as you recall, every Module 1 has the pre-assessment, and then the last session usually has a checkpoint. So, because that's all in Module 1, which gives us basically Session 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm giving you all of Module 1 today. Because I started to cut it in half, and I really thought you guys are pretty smart, or actually really smart, and you would have cut through those 4 pages of student book really fast, and then I'd rather just put it all together to save us a day, okay? Because this is May 20th. This video I'm making for you is for May 20th, which is next Wednesday, okay? So we are getting strangely close to the end of the year here. So I don't want to linger too much. So once again, you're doing Unit 7, all of Module 1 today. All the student book home connections that you have for Module 1, you're going through, okay? So a lot of this, you're gonna go, we already know that. Well, Bridges wants me to go over this again. So everything here and here, right here, this is all from the teacher's edition. It's not in your student book or home connections, okay? And you're gonna go, yep, we know that, Mr. Bauer, we know that. So I'm just gonna go through it. You're gonna go, yep, no problem, okay? So obviously this is a problem string that from the book, and it starts basic, and then it's just showing you once again using an area model how you can do closely similar problems. Okay, so we got 36 divided by 6, we know that's 6. And then this area model, we got 360 divided by 6, and we know that's 60 because we added a 0, instead of 6 it's 60. And then so what did they do? Well, they upped you to 390. Well, a lot of you are thinking, well, that's 30 away from 360, so 30 divided by 6 is 5, so it's whatever 360 divided by 6 plus 5 more, which it is, okay? So 390 divided by 6, we've got 360 here, and then the extra 30, okay, because we're doing the extra 30 here, and that's 5 more, okay? And then what they did, go back up to the 360, then they dropped it to 330 divided by 6, okay? So they want you to think, all right, 2 different ways here. So if you go, see how this whole area model is 360, but we can only go to 330. So now you take off that 5. You take off 30 divided by 6. You take off that 5. So instead of the 360, the whole area model, we're taking this 30 off, and it becomes 330, because this whole thing's 360, this is 330, and that means the answer is 55 instead of 60, okay? Now, some of you were probably thinking, well, Mr. Bauer, you can just do 6 times 50 is 300, and then 6 times 5 is 30, and yes, you can, and you'd still get your 330 divided by 6 equals 55, okay? So that's a quick review. That's pretty much what they wanted to show you from Session 2. And remember, Session 1 is just the assessment, okay? So that's Session 2. Here's Session 3, okay? Kind of the same thing, only bigger divisor. I mean, we're pretty much doing the same thing. So we have 280 divided by 14, except we're using a ratio table, okay? So we always start out I always like to start out 1 times whatever the divisor is. I like to just start at the beginning, and then you can get bigger after that. But this tells you that this is going to be a times 14 ratio table, and I like to do that. And I like my 4th and 5th graders to start that way. So, well, then we can jump to 10 times 14, okay? And we still have a ways to go, but you probably noticed something about 10 times 14 is 140. That's half of 280. So if we double, go to 20 times 14, you get to 280, okay? So 280 divided by 14 is 20, okay? So what did they do? Look what they did. 280 to 308, same divisor, okay? Well, if you look at the difference between those, you're like, it's 28, the dividend is 28 higher than 280. Something's fishy because 28 is 2 14s. So, we start out with our 1 times 14 is 14. Here's our last problem. 20 times 14 is 280. And then we do 2 more to give us that 28. And yep, that's 308. And then you add those together, 22. All right? Okay, I know this is kind of review for you. You had this a little bit in 4th grade, and now you've had even more in 5th grade. So pretty much so much of Module 1 is going to be division, okay? So before I let you go and get into your student book, let's look at 2 more things. Your student book 261 has, you guys are, Bridges wants you to know all about fruit pizzas, okay? Don't ask me why. So we've got, you'll see on 261 you have this chart of different berries, different fruit, and then how many cups it takes to do so many pizzas, okay? In this case, it takes 237 blueberries to make 79 pizzas, okay? And this, all the way down, this column is open, okay? This is where you're putting your answer. So it's just division, guys. All the way down, you're dividing total number of cups divided by how many pizzas that makes. So as you go through 237 cups of blueberries gives you 79 pizzas. How many cups of blueberries per pizza? So you divide all the way down, and you're going to see different variations of that all the way down, okay? But it's just division, okay? Now, before we get into homework, I've already wrote down homework, and I wanted to show you one last thing. I know if you thought about this or if you forgot, you could have just asked mom or dad, but remember, when you are dividing fractions, okay, it's so easy. So you will have some problems like this. This is not the exact problem that you're going to get, but 10 divided by 1/5, okay, is the same as 10 over 1 times the reciprocal of 1/5, 5 over 1. So you got 10 times 5, 50 over 1, which is 50, okay, no problem. Now, this is just me, but when you get down to 2 3/4, okay, divided by 1 1/2, using improper fractions is just, it's so much clearer in my head. So we've got 2 3/4 is 11/4. But since we're doing the reciprocal of 1.5, it's going to be times 2/3 because this is 3/2. Okay? So reciprocal is 2/3. You end up with 22/12, and you guys know how to reduce that. You can make it a reduced improper fraction, or you can make it a reduced mixed number. It's up to you. Okay? And I think, was it the last? I don't know. Remember, when you're doing 2.5 times, I can't remember if it's this one or it could have been the last, but if you run across these, remember, they do want you, now, I know some of you are like, well, I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to use improper fractions and multiply it out. But remember, Bridges does want you to know how to do this. Okay? So you just go ahead and do that, and you add up your partial products. I couldn't remember as I was doing this if there's any more of those in this section, but I know we did those last time. So just keep that in mind. I know most of you would just do 5 halves times 13 thirds, and that's fine too. Okay? So you will see student book and home connections right there. And like I said, if it says Unit 7, Module 1, you're doing that from now until, remember, your next video is going to be next Tuesday. Okay? So it's going to be whatever that is.
26th.
26. Okay. So because of Memorial Day being on Monday, we're doing our videos Tuesday, Thursday, that following week of Memorial Week. Okay. So you I'm not sure if Dr. Couture is having you have all this due Sunday or Monday, but anyway, you have plenty of days to do all of Module 1. Okay? So, as always, you can email me if you have a question. Otherwise, I think you guys probably will scoot right through this fairly easily. Okay? See you next time from Studio B.